Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. Vanessa Trump, the ex-wife of Donald Trump Jr., announced on Wednesday that she has been diagnosed with breast cancer. According to UPI, in an Instagram post, she shared that she is working closely with her medical team on a treatment plan and is staying focused and hopeful, surrounded by the love and support of her family and children. She also expressed gratitude for her doctors who performed a procedure on her earlier in the week. Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump Jr.'s sister, offered her well wishes on the post, writing, "Praying for your continued strength and a swift recovery. Love you, Mama." The American Cancer Society reports that breast cancer is the most common form of cancer in women, excluding skin cancer, accounting for about 30% of new female cancer diagnoses annually. The average lifetime risk for a U.S. woman developing breast cancer is approximately 13%, with over 4 million breast cancer survivors currently in the United States. Vanessa Trump, 48, was married to Donald Trump Jr. from 2005 to 2018, and they have 5 children together. She is currently in a relationship with golfer Tiger Woods. Al Jazeera reports that the United States has lifted sanctions against Francesca Albanese, the UN Special Rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territory. This decision comes 1 week after a federal judge issued a temporary injunction, stating that the sanctions originally imposed by the Trump administration restricted Albanese's freedom of speech by targeting her expressed ideas and messages. The Trump administration had accused Albanese of biased and malicious activities and lawfare for her advocacy, including recommending that the International Criminal Court issue arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister Yoav Gallant. The judge ruled that her recommendations have no binding effect on the ICC's actions, being merely her opinion. Albanese had previously stated that the sanctions were intended to undermine her mission, and she welcomed the judge's decision. The U.S. Treasury Department imposed these sanctions last July after Albanese published a report accusing 48 companies, including Cent Capinasa Stast, Alphabet, and Amazon, of complicity in Israel's war in Gaza. Albanese has served as the UN rapporteur since May 2022. Al Jazeera reports that the United States has lifted sanctions against Francesca Albanese, the UN Special Rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territories. This decision comes a week after a federal judge issued a temporary injunction against the sanctions, finding that they restricted her freedom of speech by targeting the message she expressed. The sanctions were initially imposed by the Trump administration after Albanese published a report accusing 48 companies, including U.S. tech giants, of complicity in what she termed Israel's genocidal war on Gaza. The administration cited biased and malicious activities and lawfare as reasons for the sanctions, particularly Albanese's recommendation that the International Criminal Court issue arrest warrants for Israeli officials. The judge's decision highlighted that Albanese's recommendations were merely opinions with no binding effect. Albanese had previously stated that the sanctions were intended to weaken her mission. The lifting of sanctions is seen as a significant development following the legal challenge to the U.S. government's use of sanctions against advocates for Palestinian rights. According to Sinuanet, 3 individuals have died, and 18 first responders are receiving medical treatment following exposure to an unidentified substance during a suspected drug overdose incident in New Mexico. The event unfolded in Mountain Air, a rural community situated east of Albuquerque. Of the 4 people found unresponsive inside a home, 3 were pronounced dead. The 18 first responders who arrived at the scene subsequently developed symptoms such as nausea and dizziness, with 2 reportedly in serious condition. Mountain Air Mayor Peter Nieto indicated via social media that all signs point to narcotics as a potential cause, acknowledging widespread issues of addiction and substance abuse. The investigation into the incident is currently ongoing. U.S. President Donald Trump has indicated that he does not anticipate an escalation in relations with Cuba following the indictment of former Cuban President Raul Castro. Speaking on the matter, Trump stated that the United States is freeing up Cuba. The indictment, which took place in Miami, concerns the 1996 downing of exile planes. Al Jazeera reported on the president's remarks, emphasizing his stance against further escalation amid the current diplomatic situation. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.